Said life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
Hard to believe, but it's been 25 years since Tom Hanks spoke those classic words in Forrest Gump. The Vietnam War looms large in the film, and the concerns of real-life American war veterans loom large in the lives of two other actors who performed in it. Here's Mark Strassmann.
Morning, sir.
Oh, get your hands down. Do not salute me. There are goddamn snipers all around this area.
Forrest Gump, above all, is an odyssey of innocence, not a war movie. But much of the film's emotional impact resonates from a combat brotherhood between Private Gump, played by Tom Hanks, and his commander in Vietnam.
I'm Lieutenant Dan Taylor. Welcome to Fort Platoon.
Gary Sinise plays Lieutenant Dan, who tries to protect his young recruits.
It's pretty basic here. Stick with me. You learn from the guys that have been in country a while, you'll be all right.
But Gump soon learns a battlefield is a box of terrors. His heroics save most of his platoon, including Lieutenant Dan, who loses both legs.
I was supposed to die in the field with honor. That was my destiny, and you cheated me out of it.
Lieutenant Dan forever changes Gump's life and our perception of wounded vets.
He goes into a deep despair and a darkness, a survivor's guilt. You know, why did they survive and their buddies did not? And Lieutenant Dan carries that with him. I very much wanted to play that part because of the Vietnam veterans in my family, and I wanted to pay tribute to that in some way.
People come up to you at the street and call you Lieutenant Dan today?
Yeah. I've had that happen many times. Just training to get ready.
Sinise never served in the military, but he proudly showed us photos of family members who have. Now he's doing his part, helping injured vets, first responders, and their families through the Gary Sinise Foundation. Since Forrest Gump premiered in 1994, battlefields in Iraq and Afghanistan have created too many real-life Lieutenant Dans.
Some of them have just, like Lieutenant Dan, just tried to disappear. So they had a very serious post-traumatic stress. Could not come back, could not function in society in any way, and so they've withdrawn.
Vets like Michael Conner Humphreys.
I struggled. I didn't accomplish anything for a long time.
Humphreys, now 34, struggled with PTSD. In 2005, he served for 18 months in Anbar Province, Iraq. He's just like countless other combat vets, except for one thing.
I had considered being in the military ever since having been in Forrest Gump.
That's right.
I'm Forrest Gump.
When he was 8, Michael Humphreys played young Forrest Gump. As a kid in Mississippi, Humphreys had never acted before, but he won an open casting call.
I knew nothing about it. I didn't even know who Tom Hanks was. Actually, for the longest time, I thought the only reason I was selected for the film was for the accent, because the accent I had as a kid was a big part of that character.
We got more money than Davy Crockett.
Hank's challenge? To make Gump's accent sound consistent, as he explained in a 2013 interview.
What has to happen here, I think, is you've got to cast a kid, and then I follow where that kid goes.
Listen to these early Gump audition tapes, included in the new 25th anniversary Blu-ray release. Hanks rehearses in his own voice.
Oh, well, you're my most special friend.
And you're mine, too.
But he kept studying Humphreys.
Stupid is as stupid does.
See?
I would engage him in conversations with a tape recorder and just get this weird kind of cadence.
My mama says stupid is as stupid does.
And I was saying, so Michael, what does your father do? And Michael said, my dad makes grease.
Gump's voice endures in Hollywood history. What stuck with Humphreys about the movie were the combat scenes shot in South Carolina. And so after high school and the attacks on 9/11, he enlisted.
I feel like there was a duty to go do it because it's just part of being the citizen of a country. That's what you got to do.
Gump wasn't on your uniform.
No.
How quickly did it take people to figure it out?
About 3 weeks. Humphreys rhymes with Gumphrys. I was Gumpy or Gump or Gumphrys or whatever most of the time.
But in Iraq, Humphreys learned real combat was nothing like the movies. 1/10 of his brigade was killed. That's 100 soldiers.
I bring it up probably more often.
He now lives in Washington State. He teaches, and he'd like to start acting again. Forrest Gump will always run inside him. But where playing that part led him, he says, is what really matters.
I'm very proud of having been in the military. I actually put that ahead of having been in Forrest Gump as far as a significant thing I've done with my life.
As part of his outreach to wounded vets, Gary Sinise formed the Lieutenant Dan Band in 2003. He's played almost 500 concerts for troops around the world.
It's good to be back!
And he's proud that Lieutenant Dan lives on as a role model of sorts for injured vets.
He's wealthy at the end of the movie. He's a successful business guy. He's married again. It's the story that we want for every single combat veteran coming home from war. We want them to come home and be okay.